Ken Berry hated her more than anyone else. Ken Berry was born Kenneth Ronald Berry on November 3, 1933, in Moline, Illinois. He was a famous American dancer, singer, actor, and actor-dancer whose skill and charm wowed people for decades. In the more than 50 years of his work, he became a household name thanks to his memorable roles in movies, TV shows, and plays. His many skills as an actor made him a versatile artist whose work is still admired and loved. Ken Berry grew up in a small town in the Midwest. He was naturally good at making people laugh from a very young age. His family was pretty normal. His dad was an accountant and his mom was a housewife. On the other hand, he could get rid of his stress and energy by performing, especially in dance. When he saw a movie with Fred Astaire, the great dancer and actor, Berry started taking dance classes after seeing this movie made him want to be a performer. Berry wanted to be like Astaire because of his ease, charm, and natural ability to hold an audience's attention. Berry showed off his skills in school plays and neighborhood talent shows while he was at Moline High School. Early on, it was clear that he was a very good dancer. As a teen, Berry had honed his skills to the level of an expert. He wanted to be a big star in Hollywood, but his path to fame took a few turns before he reached his goal. Berry joined the Army when he was 18 years old and was stationed at Fort Bragg to begin his service. Even though being in the military might not seem like a good way to make a living as an entertainer, Berry's skills really started to shine while he was there. He tried out for the Special Services Corps, which was a part of the Army that entertained the troops. It was in this place that he met Leonard Nimoy, another famous entertainer, who pushed him to become an actor after leaving the Army. In later years, Nimoy became popular as Spock on Star Trek. He saw Berry's potential and helped him get a job in Hollywood. Berry did what Nimoy told him to do after getting out of the service with honor and moved to Hollywood, where he first started acting classes and going on job auditions. He worked hard at dancing and got a part on the Billy Barnes Revue, a famous nightclub show that went on tour across the country. This revue showed off his skills and got him his first big break in show business. Berry's time in the revue helped him make links in the entertainment business, and it wasn't long before he was cast in a TV show. He got his big break in TV when he was cast as Captain Wilton Parmenter in the hit show F Troop in 1965. Set in the American West after the Civil War, F Troop was a comedy about the bad luck of a horse unit at Fort Courage. Berry did a great job as the clumsy but kind Captain Parmenter because of how well he could time his comic lines and move. He became a fan favorite very quickly. The show F Troop had a loyal fan base for all 2 seasons. Berry was great at combining slapstick comedy with sincere charm, which made him a natural for TV. His success in F Troop led to bigger parts. He joined the group of Mayberry RFD in 1968. It was a spin-off of the famous show The Andy Griffith Show. Berry took over as the show's main character, Sam Jones, a farmer who had lost his wife and is now the mayor of Mayberry. People liked him a lot as the friendly and caring Sam Jones, and Mayberry RFD was popular for many years, carrying on the spirit of the Andy Griffith Show after its original run finished. In the 1980s, Ken Berry had more success on TV when he joined the group of Mama's Family, a show based on the popular comedy sketches from the Carol Burnett Show. Berry played Vinton Harper, the silly but likable son of Thelma Harper, the main character. Sue Lawrence played the part. Mama's Family was a hit thanks in part to Berry's great chemistry with Lawrence and the rest of the group. Berry's performance as the good-hearted but often helpless Vinton became one of his most memorable roles. The show had 6 seasons, and a cult following. Reruns of the show have been shown for years after they first aired. Ken Berry is a well-liked actor who played important parts on old TV shows like F Troop and Mayberry RFD. He was seen by many of his co-workers as a friendly and easygoing guy. But even though he was usually friendly, there was one person in his work with whom he had a very tense relationship. Frances Bavier is a well-known actress who played Aunt Bee on The Andy Griffith Show and Mayberry RFD. She is an experienced actress who became famous for playing the sweet but strict Aunt Bee, who were known for being tough to work with behind the scenes. Even though she seemed kind and caring on TV, people who worked with her often said she was a lot more complicated. Bavier was said to be very private and a perfectionist on set. Because she was so careful and wanted things to be done her way, she often got into fights with other cast members, like Ken Berry. Ken Berry joined Mayberry RFD in 1968 as the friendly married farmer Sam Jones. The Andy Griffith Show had already done a lot to set the scene for his character. Frances Bavier had been Aunt B for almost 10 years at that point. He was one of the few original cast members who went from the Andy Griffith Show to its spin-off, Mayberry RFD. Berry brought a new, laid-back vibe to the show of. It was said that Bavier's more demanding and controlling personality didn't get along with his more laid-back playing style. A number of people say that Berry and Bavier didn't get along very well on set. Berry was known for being friendly and funny, which made him popular with his co-stars and the crew. On the other hand, Bavier was more shy and often angry, which made things awkward between the two. One of the main things that made them fight was Bavier's insistence on following lines exactly, and she didn't like it when people improvised or went off script. Berry, on the other hand, liked to act in a more realistic way and liked giving his performances a sense of being spontaneous. There were a lot of arguments and a frustrated mood on set because of this difference in style. In talks years later, Berry would sometimes make hints about how hard it was to work with some people during his career. He didn't usually call people by their names, but many experts thought that what he said was meant for Bavier. He was said to have had trouble talking to her. They didn't always get along professionally, and it showed. Actually, some sources say Berry avoided Bavier off camera as much as possible. He chose to spend his breaks and free time with other cast and crew members instead of talking to her. Bavier was irritable in other situations as well, not just with Ken Berry. She had trouble getting along with many of her co-stars over the years. However, the strain between her and Berry seemed to be very high. One reason for this might have been that they had very different personalities. Berry's easygoing and friendly personality clashed with Bavier's strict and sometimes rude personality. Berry was liked by many because he was friendly and easy to talk to. On the other hand, Bavier was known for keeping people at arm's length and being distant, which made it hard for people to connect with her. Berry's dislike of Bavier may have been made worse by the fact that she was said to be against the changes that Mayberry RFD made to the show's world. After Andy Griffith left the original show, the spin-off tried to go in a different direction. Bavier stayed on the show the whole time, but some say she wasn't happy with how it changed. Berry, on the other hand, was this new chapter's face. There may have been a bit of anger or pushback in Bavier because of this dynamic. Even though they had problems with each other, Berry and Bavier did their jobs well, and people who watched Mayberry RFD would never have known about the problems that happened behind the scenes. Their roles, Sam Jones and Aunt B, were close and loving with each other on screen, and Bavier played Aunt B as a caring. Berry's character's motherly figure never hinted at the bad feelings that might have been going on behind the scenes. Even though they didn't get along well personally, the chemistry they had on screen showed how skilled they were as actors. In later years, Berry was more open about some of the problems he had working in TV, but he rarely went into specifics about his problems with Bavier. Even so, it's clear that his friendship with her changed him in a big way. Even though he often hinted that there were some people in his job who were very hard to work with. The fact that Berry usually didn't say bad things about people he worked with made it clear how tense things were between him and Bavier. What about Bavier? She stopped acting in the end and spent her later years mostly by herself. Some of the things she did during her work were said to have made her sad, and near the end of her life she apologized to her former co-stars. It's not clear if Berry and Bavier ever made up before she died in 1989. But the story of how hard it was for them to work together has become famous in the history of TV. In the end, Ken Berry was known for having a good attitude, but his relationship with Frances Bavier was one of the few times in his career where it was clear he was upset with a co-star. Despite the stress, both stars kept up a professional air that made their chemistry on screen stand out, even though their relationship wasn't great behind the scenes. At the age of 85, Ken Berry passed away on December 1st, 2018, but his fans will always remember him. His work is still praised, and his roles in great TV shows show how talented and charming he was.